Hey everybody, this is Heather with Young and Savvy Genealogists, and today I want to talk about xDNA and how you can use it in your DNA analysis. To get started, I want to talk a little bit about what xDNA is. Anyone who's taken an autosomal DNA test will know that they have chromosome matches for chromosomes 1 through 22, and that's something that you'll be familiar with. What I didn't know until recently is that there are actually matches on chromosome 23 as well. The reason for kind of some of this confusion is that when we think of chromosome 23 and we think of gender, we tend to think of Y DNA. I know that I mistakenly thought that mitochondrial DNA was basically the female version of that and what comes from that 23rd pair of chromosomes, but that's not actually the case. Mitochondrial DNA is DNA that comes from a very specific place inside of a cell. It doesn't necessarily have a lot to do with the 23rd pairs of chromosomes for women. The way that this actually works is just like all of the other autosomal chromosomes, in that you'll get matches on them with your autosomal DNA test. The difference there is that the autosomal results are only on the X chromosomes in that 23rd pair. So for men, they inherit one X chromosome from their mother, who inherits it from a line of different matches. And through the autosomal DNA test, he'll be able to analyze some of his mother's specific lines in his DNA using his xDNA matches. The same thing with women, but women, because they inherit two X chromosomes, which make them female, they have a much broader range of matches that they can analyze on chromosomes 23. These can be really, really useful depending upon different lines in your family, different lines that you might be trying to research. I know for me in particular, I could not have created for myself a better set of circumstances than the lines that have fallen on my xDNA. All of my non-paternity events, all of my longest standing brick walls, a lot of my African heritage, a lot of the unknowns related to those lines with some of my immigrant ancestors, all of those different problems that I have fall along xDNA inheritance lines. So this is something that I plan to use a lot going forward to try and solve some of those mysteries. In order to help you to do this type of analysis, what I'm also going to include for you are some charts down in the description where you can see how xDNA is inherited, because it's different between men and women. And instead of trying to describe that to you, it'd be better for you to just, use these charts and compare it for yourself and identify where did you get this DNA from. I want to talk a little bit about xDNA, how to get those matches, just in case anyone else has the same kind of confusion that I had. And originally, this tutorial was going to encompass not only GEDmatch, but family tree DNA as well. But unfortunately, my family tree DNA matches are not working right now. I don't really understand why. I've contacted them and reported the issue to them, and I haven't heard back from them yet. So let's get into talking about GEDmatch and how you would do this. What you see on the screen right now is a PDF version of my one-to-many match list, and anyone who's followed my tutorials for any amount of time will know that I'm a big proponent of doing it this way. Not only does it alleviate some strain on the website, but it also allows you to access and do some of this analysis offline. What I want to point out is this column right here on this list, and you'll see that I have a comment box privatizing the name and email addresses for these people. Right here, I don't know if this is like a giant secret to anyone else the way it was to me, but what this column is talking about are these xDNA matches. This one right here at the top is my kit, because they give you the results for yourself so you can kind of, I guess, have a reference. And then as you go down this column, what you can see is these right here are actually xDNA matches. They're not very big ones, but they are there. For the vast majority of these are just regular autosomal matches. And then you've got these xDNA results right here. And, you can scroll down this list and try to cherry pick these out, but there's actually an easier way to go about doing this. I don't know if a lot of people realize, but the reason that this is red as opposed to blue is because this is activated right now. This is sorting in this column because that's how I prefer to see it. By default, when you load this list, it actually loads sorting by this column. These are columns that you can sort just like an Excel spreadsheet. So if you want to see your xDNA matches isolated, You can do that just by using these sort columns right here. So you can do that by total centimorgans, the total amount of xDNA that they share. In case, in case there's more than one segment there, you can isolate them that way. Or you can do it this way, which is kind of what I prefer, do by largest centimorgan. I don't care about super tiny segments because they don't really tell me much, or they're too far removed to tell me much. I want to see the largest possible segment, so I tend to sort by this column. So when you switch over to this view, you see how the matches have changed. And you see how all of these are much, much higher. And you can even see, like, for example, with this one right here, my largest is 26.5, but the total is 34.9. And so you can see how, there's a lot of these that I have to work with, and I didn't even know that these were in here until about a week ago. Another thing to keep in mind when you're looking at these matches on GEDmatch is that the same way that you would do with your regular autosomal matches to get your full match DNA, you need to do the same thing with your xDNA. And you can't use the regular autosomal comparison to do that. Like, for example, let's pick this one right here. So right here, you see that there's autosomal DNA and xDNA right here. So this particular person matches me on one of chromosomes 1 through 22, and right here on chromosome 23. If I input this particular kit number right here into the regular one-to-one analysis on GEDmatch, the only piece of information it's going to show me is for this segment, whichever one this is right here. It's not going to tell me about this one. In order to view your xDNA matches, you have to go to the main page on GEDmatch and look for the X one-to-one comparison. And when you use those, that's how you get the information for all of these segments right here. So for this particular segment, I would actually have to analyze this twice. So as you're going through these matches and trying to analyze them, the same rules for autosomal matches apply to your xDNA matches. Whatever criteria it is that you like to use, you need to be using that same criteria with your xDNA matches. The only real difference here is the benefit that it gives you in terms of eliminating a lot of other matches from different lines. So like I said, be sure to check out those charts in the description, and be sure to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and to check out our blog at youngandsavvygenealogist.blogspot.com, and follow us on social media, and you'll see those links in the description as well. Thank you so much for stopping by with us, and we hope to see you again. Bye!